welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is Dr. Neha. As you must have guessed from the very thumbnail of the video that today we are going to study what? We are going to study English in India. Finally, after completing cultural studies, linguistics, Dalit literature, I am here with another very scoring unit, that is English in India. And the material you will be able to see on your screens behind my screen will be from the offline class. In our offline class, we have completed English in India's revision, and in today's video I am sharing directly that material with you. So stay tuned to this video up till last, because in this video you are going to get flowchart of complete education commission education committees that set up the concept of English in India. My dear students, if we study English in India unit, directly the title of the unit refers to the presence of English in India, presence of English in India, presence of English people in India, presence of English in India, English language in India, and presence of the present state of English as an associative language in our subcontinent. See, English in India, the unit stands incomplete without attributing to how English people entered our subcontinent. Why they entered? How did they set up English as at the place we study today? Today, English is something that is related to our knowledge of education, the way I am talking to people, the way my students who belong to South, who belong to North are equally able to understand me because of the language connect that we have developed through English. But the point here is English in India refers to, I tell you, this video is going to be a one-shot video for the unit English in India, and all the major committees, all the major commissions will be clear right in your head along with the major years. So stay tuned up till last, and don't forget to like, share and comment by reviewing your comments. See, I will start with the year 1792. First thing that you have to keep in mind is English in India starts with the colonization. The way English people entered our subcontinent. They wanted to explore, they wanted to expand their territory, and as a result of which they chose the medium of colonization. Once they have entered our subcontinent, it became very much important for their own growth, for their own understanding, to have mediators, to have administrators who could assemble local people in local language, but they have the English mind, English intellect. In order to rule, they started educating the higher classes, the children of the elite classes, in order to get the intermediators, in order to expand, in order to confront, in order to expand their very rule. So English in India refers us back to the time of colonization, when English people entered the Indian subcontinent and how they exerted their intellect through their language. So that's about English in India's introduction. So English in India, when English people entered our subcontinent, they felt the need to have mediators, to have administrators who are Indian, and they can contact with English people also, and they can contact equally well to natives also. So in order to create their class, in order to rule well, they felt the need to establish English. And other reason had been that they wanted to educate Indian people out of their superstitious beliefs, out of their religious discord. See, when English people entered our subcontinent, there was untouchability. There was this sati pratha going on, and there were many other superstitious beliefs that they were completely ingrained in our ideology. So these English people felt that in order to rule them completely, we need to eradicate all these superstitious beliefs first of all. And while they were able to eradicate this superstitious belief, what better than educating them in English, educating them in English belief system and giving them English intellect. And in order to give them English intellect, what was needed? The English language. So English language, how English language came in contact with Indian language, Indian belief system, Indian people, that's the cause of the concern of this unit. But yes, for sure, it started with England's colonization. So let us study English in India. We have so far seen that it started with colonization. The first language that was replaced when English people came in India was Persian language. Mark this thing. Hindi was not replaced, Sanskrit was not replaced, it's a PYQ. The first language that was replaced was the Persian language. English people, English educated. The story starts from the very fact that when there was a need that was felt for having administrators and mediators who are natives, who understand English and who understand Hindi at the same time, the indigenous native language. They entered the down south. So what did they do? They started educating Indian people in English language. And who were those people? Zachary, Macaulay, William Wilberforce, Charles Grant. They favored that English education should be there in the Indian community to uplift them, to make them the administrators, to make them the mediators, and at the same time to uplift them from their rigid, superstitious, religious, orthodox belief system. So two classes of educators were there. There were two sort of English people. One was Anglicists and other was Orientalists. Anglicists were the people who believed in the very fact that English language should be implemented in the Indian education system and English should be implemented as a medium of education. Whereas Orientalists were other form of English people who favored the fact that in order to uplift them, we should use the vernacular language. They should be taught in their own Oriental way. So Oriental, Governor Warren Hastings, William Jones, they favored that. William Jones is a translator. He favored the very fact that Indian people should be educated in Indian languages only. But Anglicists, they favored the fact, Anglicists like Zachary Macaulay, Thomas Babington Macaulay, William Wilberforce, they favored the very fact that Indian people should be taught in English language. We should create a class that is English in intellect but Indian in blood. They should walk and talk and think like English people. See, when I talk about English in India, I cannot miss on Babu English and Butler English. That soon started developing when English people entered our subcontinent. Babu English is basically the English used by clerks, clerical English. They understood some pidgins, some simplified form of English language. They used English and they exercised authority in the office. Yes, I know English. And one of the finest example of Babu English has to be the farewell party for Miss पुष्पा. तो जो ये हमारी वुमेन स्कीम एजिकेट की, इसमें फेयरवेल पार्टी है फॉर बेटर प्रॉस्पेक्ट. मिस पुष्पा इज गोइंग आउट ऑफ कंट्री एंड the way English, the Indian people are speaking in English language, that's more funny. The present continuous tense is used, but at the same time it is the example of Babu English. They have no complete idea of English, but so far they have developed little simplified forms, pidgins of English language, and they are using that in order to exercise their authority, in order to exercise that they belong to the high elite class. And second is a Butler English. Butler English is the people, the Indian people who worked in English in the in the houses of English people who were primarily living in India, they developed some sort of language, some sort of butler English, wherein they could use, may I come? Done, ma'am. I am done with this. तो जब वो छोटे छोटे words use कर, that's butler English, and बाबू English is the English of the clerk. इनको बाबू English ही implement करनी थी administrators के लिए, mediators के लिए, जो English language में बात कर सके, English language में native के messages को communicate कर सके और इनके messages को natives तक communicate कर सके. So channel of communication frame करने के लिए ये debate start हुई थी Anglicist and Orientalist के बीच में. So that's the one thing. Other thing in English in India start writing the year by year chronology. The story starts with the year 1792 when Charles Grant decides the first blueprint of English education. He decides that Christian missionaries will come from England in order to educate Indian people in English language. So that was the first blueprint of English in India was laid down in the year 1792. And then we have a master stroke, that is the year 1813. In English literature, when you study poet laureate, who became poet laureate in the year 1813? Can you please tell me in the comment section below? It's a challenge for you. Who became poet laureate of England in the year 1813? And who followed that whom? Who followed that whom in the year 1833? So 1813, the Charters Act was passed, wherein a sum of 1 lakh rupees was given. But what was not mentioned in the Charters Act was the medium of instruction. It was decided that Indian people will now be taught by English people. But the medium was not clear. But the medium was not mentioned. Yes, it was decided that this amount is being laid for the betterment of Indian people, that yes, they will be taught, they need to be uplifted. There is something that English people need to do for Indian people in order to uplift them from their orthodox belief systems. So, a committee was set down, General Committee of Public Instruction. कमेटी सेटअप किया गया जिसमें हमारे आए ये दो सेक्ट ऑफ इंग्लिश पीपल, एंग्लिसिस्ट एंड ओरिएंटलिस्ट, जिन्होंने आपस में डिबेट किया और हमारा रिजल्ट हुआ हमारा मेजर PYQ 1835 का 2 फरवरी 1835 डेट भी लर्न कर लीजिए. Macaulay's Minute of Indian Education. See, English in India as a concept, as a unit stands incomplete अगर आप इसे नहीं पढ़ते हैं. This is one of those works, one manifesto, 1 minute that clarifies English stand on Indian education, wherein Lord Wellington Macaulay clearly states the very fact that one whole English Indian library, the complete wisdom that you can derive from complete Indian library is equal to one book in English language or vice versa. One English book is equal to one English book has values, morals. You can get all those values and morals by reading that one book. And that book is equal to the complete library of Indian books. Isn't it an insult? They wanted to create a class that is Indian in blood but English in intellect, manners, thoughts. Indian blood होगा लेकिन thought, उठना बैठना gentleman वाला होगा, English people वाला होगा. So Lord Wellington Macaulay is the one जहाँ से English in India का introduction हुआ. क्रिश्चियन मिशनरीज आए और उन्होंने स्कूल्स को सेटअप करना स्टार्ट किया. अलेक्जेंडर डफ एक स्कॉटिश मिशनरी है जिन्होंने इंग्लिश इन इंडिया का जो मोटो है, जो एजुकेशन का मोटो है, उसे कंप्लीट किया है. एक स्कॉटिश ग्रुप प्लेड अ डिसाइसिव रोल. स्कूल्स श्रीरामपुर कॉलेज ओपन किया गया, हिंदू स्कूल्स ओपन किए गए, एंग्लो हिंदू स्कूल्स ओपन किए गए जिसमें इंग्लिश को इम्प्लीमेंट किया गया. ये जान करके कि इंडियन लिटरेचर, इंडियन एस्थेटिक्स और इंडियन एजुकेशन सिस्टम is completely fragile and that it cannot hold the international stand, and in order to make them administrators or mediators, it is very compulsory that these Indian people should be taught in English language. But are we able to give up on that English language today, English being an international language? No. I am not challenging because I've also done English honors. You people have also done MA in English or PA in English, and then you are giving the exam of NTA UGC NET to become an assistant professor in English. That's the irony of the thing. But mind you, my dear students, because it's a marathon video, one short video, crispy video, mark down the year 1835, wherein Lord Wellington Macaulay came out with a minutes on Indian education. It's a PYQ. The date is also a PYQ. So many schools were opened, like Baptist Mission School, Sirampur College, Alexander Duff played a major role, and also two Indian freedom fighters, two Indian nationalists also played a vital role. Where? To the implementation of English language in India. Who? Raja Ram Mohan Roy or M.K. Gandhi, Mahatma Gandhi, Mohan Chand Karam. I'm forgetting the name. Please do not criticize me over that because I've been recording for so long now. We have completed linguistics and now I am here recording for English in India just because almost last 1 week is left and there's no way I cannot stop myself from helping you people. So Raja Ram Mohan Roy, please do like this video if you are able to understand what I am saying, if you are able to revise it in that effective way. The role of Raja Ram Mohan Roy is another very important role because he favored the modern day subjects, the education of modern day subjects like science, mathematics, and he himself favored the English education system on the implementation of English language because he believed in the very fact that in order to better our future prospects, both M.K. Gandhi and Raja Ram Mohan Roy favored the fact that English in India can play a decisive role in giving us an international front. So English for better prospects, he favored the opening of the Anglo-Hindu schools. He himself wrote, it's a PYQ, letter to the PM of Britain, Lord Hemos, talking about the situation of Indian education and talking about the favorable circumstances of English being taught in Indian schools. He came up with a journal known as Samvad Kumudi and Mahatma Gandhi's journal like Young India. He himself favored English. He himself, for example, the first speech after independence of Jawaharlal Nehru was in English language. M.K. Gandhi also favored English language for the better prospects. His autobiography is written in English language. So after that, after we have come to the year 1835. Now after 1835, we have activists like Raja Ram Mohan Roy, M.K. Gandhi. Yes, independence was there, movement of partition was there, but English stayed. English people left, but English stayed. Now let us look at the year 1854. 1854, Wood's Dispatch was implemented. Wood's Dispatch talked about, it's a sort of commission like NEP 2020 we have today. Back in 1854, we had Wood's Dispatch, and Wood's Dispatch is known as the Magna Carta of Indian education in English language because in this one commission, in this one dispatch, it is also sometimes written as dispatch. He favored the very fact that primary schooling should be in vernacular language, high school students should be taught in Anglo-English language, college and university, the medium of English language should be used. And in this Wood Dispatch, we have seen that during this time, 3 universities were established in the presidential states of Calcutta, Bombay and Madras. And why this is known as Magna Carta of Indian education? Because it favored the holistic growth. It favored the very fact that moral education should be there, physical education should be there, women education should be there, in Muslim women education should be there. So it favored women education. It favored education right from the primary level because primary level was essentially ignored. So there was need to understand that at primary level, if you educate a child in vernacular language, he or she will establish the concept, and then we by and by we switch to the Anglo vernacular English education. That is why our forefathers have started studying, and our parents also say that we started studying English at the at fifth class or sixth class for that matter, because of this goods dispatch. And then after 1854, so far we have seen the major years are 1792, 1813, when we have charted, then we have 1835, Lord Wellington Macaulay, and then we have 1854, Woods Dispatch, and then we have 1882, Hunter Commission. That was there to ask that why Woods Dispatch was not implemented, and if it was implemented, how much favor or how much profit it is able to attain. It was during Hunter Commission that two more universities were established, 1882, Punjab University and Allahabad University. And because universities were now being established, there was need to look upon the university education system, and Indian University Acts 1902 and 1904 were passed to check out the roles of the vice chancellors, registrars, departmental activities, and how courses will be laid down and what departmental structure will be followed in the appointment of the vice chancellor, registrars, professors, associate professors. So all this came out in the year 1902 and revised in 1904 as Indian University Act. In 1912 देख रहे हो ईयर बाय ईयर फ्लो चार्ट को समझ लो, हम 1912 तक आ चुके हैं इंग्लिश इन इंडिया में. ओके बिल 1917-19 में कैलकटा कमीशन. These are basically like we today we have NEP 2020. 2020 से पहले के जो सारे कमीशंस आए हैं उसमें इंग्लिश कैसे आई, और दिस वीडियो is also useful for NTA UGC NET paper 1, because in paper 1 teaching aptitude unit we have this. So 1928 we have Hartog Committee, 1936 we have Awardwood Committee, 1948 we have University Education Commission, also known as Radhakrishnan Commission. Just after the year independence, Radhakrishnan, who is known when we celebrate Teachers' Day, 5th of September. 1966 we have Kothari Commission, and till now what format was being fed, जो Woods Dispatch में बताया गया था कि एंग्लो वर्नाकुलर हमारा सेकेंडरी स्टेज पर स्टार्ट हो रहा है, फर्स्ट वर्नाकुलर स्टेज पर ही स्टार्ट हो रहा है, फिफ्थ और सिक्स्थ क्लास में इंग्लिश इंप्लीमेंट की जा रही है. लेकिन यहाँ पर इंग्लिश के इंप्लीमेंटेशन से एक प्रॉब्लम स्टार्ट हो चुकी थी. दैट प्रॉब्लम वाज ड्यूरिंग दिस टाइम आफ्टर इंडिपेंडेंस English was made, English and Hindi, these were the two official languages. But in down south, they did not understand Hindi language. They felt that what should be done, what is the proposed thing that, because they could not understand Hindi and all the official documents were presumably in Hindi or English. Because in English there was a problem that there were English speaker and non-English speaker class also, and in down south if they translated it in Hindi, they could not understand neither Hindi or neither English. So that problem arose, and as a result of which was English was made the associate language, and Hindi and all the Indian languages were made the official languages. So far, before Kothari Commission, before this commission, what was there? Hindi and English. And now English was the associative language, and after that all Indian major languages, not the dialects, but the languages, the official 22 languages were the official languages of India. So this solved the problem, and now today we have the most revolutionary NEP 2020, and if you are going to sit in this year's examination, don't forget NEP 2020. Do revise it. NEP 2020 completely changed the pedagogical structure. In our graduation, what was the thing that we followed? We followed the 3+2 structure. 3 years we had our bachelor's and 2 years we had our master's. It completely changed the pedagogical structure because it made it 4 years. 4 years in that you can get a degree, you can get a certificate and diploma and also a PhD. So NEP 2020 in that case the art student is also able to study science and science student is also allowed to study arts. Because of the major and minor subject issue, the revolution that it came out with to make the education more inclusive, more holistic, and it is based on the credit based system. Please my dear students, एग्जाम में जाने से पहले NEP 2020 को जरूर रिवाइज कीजिएगा और फर्क एक न्यू असेसमेंट सेंटर बनाया गया NEP 2020 के लिए. So on that note, we have seen English in India, but English in India से हम NEP 2020 तक आ चुके हैं, लेकिन इंग्लिश कहाँ गई? इंग्लिश आज भी है, हम पढ़ रहे हैं, हमने BA किया, MA किया, PhD किया, सब इंग्लिश लिटरेचर में किया. So English became international language, interstate language, and also for intrastate communication, international language, national language. So English completely changed the global outlook. Yes, it changed our future prospects, but still the students, the speakers today, even today in 21st century, in the 2026, if you are able to understand English, if you are able to speak in English in a better way, you are considered to be educated. But that English and non-English speakers, the difference आज भी present है. So on that note, this is Dr. Neha wishing you all the very best as you prepare for this exam. Yes, on our YouTube channel, we already have uploaded PYQs for English in India. You can just view my channel, revise all the major videos, revise from all the major videos. So this is Dr. Neha wishing you all happiness always. What all I'm asking for, please do like. And if you have any query regarding the notes for the December 2026 attempt 2026 919196, अगर आपको कोई भी डाउट है, कोई क्वेरी है, आप हमसे कनेक्ट करना चाहते हैं, कुछ समझना चाहते हैं, कुछ नोट्स चाहते हैं यूपीपीएससी जीडीसी के लिए, एनटीए नेट के लिए छोटी छोटी यूनिट्स के नोट्स चाहते हैं, तो आप इस नंबर पर हमें व्हाट्सएप कर सकते हैं अपनी क्वेरी के साथ. हमारे ऑफलाइन ऑनलाइन बैचेस हमेशा ओपन रहते हैं एंड वी बिलीव इन एन ओपन क्लासरूम सिस्टम. आप जितना पढ़ना चाहते हैं उतना हम आपको पढ़ाएंगे, आपको उतना ही पे करना है. Yes, specific courses are also there. You can also enroll for that, and this is my contact number. You can surely contact and leave your reviews. That really encourages me. So my dear students, wish you all the luck.